Today, we're diving into the big ideas from James Clear's game-changing book, Atomic Habits, and we're going to get to the bottom of one really powerful question. How is it that tiny, almost invisible changes can lead to absolutely remarkable results?
Okay, so we've all been there, right? It's January 1st, you're feeling super motivated, ready to take on the world. But here's a crazy stat for you. A staggering 91% of New Year's resolutions, they just fail. By the time February rolls around, most of us are right back where we started. So, what gives? It's a feeling we all know. We have these great intentions, eat healthier, hit the gym, read more books. But actually making those things stick, it feels next to impossible. What are we all getting so wrong?
Well, here's the central idea of the book, and it's a big one. The reason we fail isn't because we lack willpower. The problem isn't you at all, it's your system. You see, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you actually fall to the level of your systems.
So, where does a better system even begin? Well, it starts in a place most of us don't think to look. Not with what you want to achieve, but with who you want to become. This is the deepest and, honestly, the most powerful layer of change.
And this brings us to the core concept of identity-based habits. The whole idea is that instead of chasing an outcome, say running a marathon, you focus on becoming the type of person who just does that. You focus on becoming a runner.
Most of us try to change from the outside in. We fixate on the outcome we want. But real, lasting change, it works the other way around. It has to start from the inside, with your identity. That identity then informs your process, and the outcomes, they just become a natural byproduct.
Here's a fantastic example of what I mean. Imagine two people trying to quit smoking are offered a cigarette. The first one says, "No thanks, I'm trying to quit." See, they still see themselves as a smoker who's making a sacrifice. But the second person, they say, "No thanks, I'm not a smoker." That tiny shift in language points to a massive shift in identity. It's not a struggle anymore, it's just who they are.
And this is the cool part. Your identity isn't some fixed thing. It's something you build, action by action. Every single time you go for a run, you're casting a vote for being a runner. Every time you write a single page, you cast a vote for being a writer. These little votes are how you prove your new identity to yourself, one step at a time.
Okay, so if identity is our North Star, our destination, what's the engine that's actually going to get us there? Well, it's the almost magical power of tiny, compounding improvements.
Just look at the incredible story of the British cycling team. For about 100 years, they were pretty mediocre. But then they hired a guy named Dave Brailsford, and he brought in this philosophy he called the aggregation of marginal gains. They just focused on improving every little thing by just 1%. We're talking everything from more comfortable bike seats to finding the absolute perfect pillow for a good night's sleep. The results were nothing short of mind-blowing.
And the math behind this is just wild. If you get just 1% better each day for 1 year, you'll end up 37 times better by the end. But on the flip side, if you get 1% worse each day, you decline almost down to nothing. It just goes to show how much our small, daily choices really matter in the long run.
So how does our brain actually put these 1% actions on autopilot? It all runs on a simple, invisible little program called the habit loop. It's basically the blueprint for everything we do without even thinking about it. And this loop has 4 really simple steps. First up, there's a cue, which is just the trigger. That cue leads to a craving, the motivation to act. Then comes the response, the habit itself. And finally, the reward, which is what satisfies that craving and tells your brain, hey, do that again. Every single habit you have, good or bad, follows this exact pattern. So now that we get the habit loop, we can start moving from just theory to actually doing something. We can finally stop trying to rely on willpower and start designing a system where good habits aren't just possible, they're practically inevitable. And a huge part of that system is your environment. We often think we just lack self-control, but the truth is, our surroundings are constantly nudging us towards certain behaviors. The people who seem to have the best self-control, they're usually just the ones who have to use it the least. For example, there was the study in a hospital cafeteria. They wanted people to drink more water, but they didn't put up any signs or say a word. All they did was place more water bottles in really visible locations. And the result? Soda sales plummeted by over 11% and water sales shot up by almost 26%. They just made the good choice the obvious choice. And we can use this exact same idea in our own lives. It's so simple. You want to practice guitar more? Don't leave it in the closet. Put it on a stand right in the middle of your living room. Want to eat healthier? Put a fruit bowl on the counter, not hidden in some fridge drawer. Make the cues for your good habits impossible to miss, and make the cues for bad ones invisible.
Okay, this all leads us to the final big piece of the puzzle, shifting our focus away from goals and onto systems. It sounds subtle, but trust me, this distinction is everything.
So let's break this down. A goal is the result you want, right? Like, write a book. But a system, that's the process you follow that gets you to that result. For example, write 500 words every day. Now here's the thing. When you're focused only on the goal, you're pretty much in a constant state of failure until you finally reach it. But when you focus on the system, you get to win every single day that you follow the process. And that is how you build real momentum.
So when you put it all together, that identity shift, the power of 1% gains, and a beautifully designed system, what's the final payoff?
Well, it brings us back to this amazing metaphor. Habits are basically the compound interest of self-improvement. Just like money in a savings account, your habits compound over time. A tiny effort today might not feel like much, but over a few years, that growth becomes absolutely exponential. Good habits literally make time your best friend.
And really, that's the secret sauce. We tend to think that real change needs some kind of huge heroic action, but it just doesn't. True transformation is the product of those tiny atomic habits that, when you repeat them day in and day out, add up to incredible results and, most importantly, forge a whole new sense of who you are.
So, I'll leave you with this question. What is one small vote, one tiny action that you can cast for your new identity starting today?